Hello, my name is Kevin with Veilux, and thank you for taking time to attend our Central Power Supply webinar. This webinar is a quick webinar. It's going to go over the 5 different central power supplies that Veilux has to offer to our customers that will work with virtually most of the cameras, and also a new power supply that has been released, which is for the PTZs. Is a VPS 12810 central power supply. This is an 8-channel 12-volt central power supply that can do, it'll work within the US or European. It will accept 100 or 120 to 220 to 240. It's isolated with switch on and switch off, up to 1.5 or 1.25 amps per channel, and protected breakers, so therefore if something happens you don't need to worry about a fuse blowing out and you have to go buy a fuse and come back. It's got auto resetting breakers, so the breaker will trip itself and then reset itself once it thinks the connection cools off. The next power supply we have is a 12-16-30. This is a 16-channel central power supply that is 12 volts. It's also compatible with 110 or 220, 240 outputs. Isolated panel on the side so you can turn it off or on. Up to 1.25 amps per outlet. Also, it does have the breakers as well, so therefore if, as I said, you don't have to replace the fuse, it'll automatically auto reset itself on the breakers. The next one we have is a 24 volt. It is a VPS 24910. It is a 9-channel 24 volt central power supply. It is also 100 to 120. It's also got a switch on the side so you can turn the unit on or off on the side of the unit. It will work up to 1.25 amps per channel. The next central power supply we have is the VPS 24-16-30. This is a 16-channel 24 volt AC central power supply. It is also 110. It has a switch on the side to turn it on and off. It can send up to 1.875 amps per outlet. And it also has the protection breakers which will auto reset themselves. A new item that Veilux here recently just invented is the VPS-24530 central power supply. This central power supply is for the PTZs only, and it's only designed for Veilux PTZs. If you've noticed in the past, if you hook up a PTZ to a 24 volt central power supply, the PTZ, once you hook up more than one, you start having some issues with fuzziness, lines across the screen or something. This one right here is a 24 volt DC power supply. So you cannot hook up your normal cameras on this power supply. You can only hook up the Veilux PTZs to this central power supply. This power supply is compatible with 110, 240, and 220. It also works, or it has a 24 volt DC. It has 14.5 total amperage for all 5 ports. It has 5 ports, and it has breaker types tubes, so therefore they are resettable. So if there's something happens within the breaker, you don't have to worry about a fuse blowing and everything, and then you have to go buy fuses. You don't have to have these. These have auto resettable breakers on them. Thank you for watching this short demonstration of us talking about the Veilux central power supplies.